Comitas?
Here.
Reynolds?
Here.
Landers?
Here.
Cost?
Here.
Schrader?
Here.
Espinoza? And Rapp?
Here.
Okay, we'll rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a motion for approval of the regular meeting agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting agenda.
Second?
Second.
And roll call.
Comitas?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Landers?
Yes.
Cost?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Rapp?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, do we have any public comments in there or anything?
Oh, man.
Okay, no visitors present. Can I have a motion for consent agenda, please?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. 5.1, disposition of minutes for July 2025, payment of bills, district treasurer's report, impressed and activity fund report, cafeteria report, and personnel report.
And a second? Second. Brenda seconds and roll call.
Rapp?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Cost?
Yes.
Landers?
Yes.
Reynolds?
Yes.
Comitas?
Yes. FOIA requests.
Yes, several. We had one from Public Data Research on our district employees. We had one from the Painters Union on Terry Martins, and we had one from Starbridge on our vendor lists.
Is there anything more about the painter thing?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
If I do get anything else, I'll update you for sure.
Okay.
About the what? I'm
The
sorry.
painter, FOIA request about the painter.
Yep. For sure.
Okay. 6.2 superintendent report.
Delegate assembly.
Jump right in.
All right.
And we don't have to do it this month if we want to punt a month, but
I definitely don't think we should make our new person do it, because it's like, not nice.
Is this
Plus, it's a learning opportunity.
Saturday or Friday?
I think it's what, Saturday morning at 10?
It takes two of the things. Maybe, do you know when we'll get the booklet of proposed, it's
think-
closer, right? Like September?
Yeah, I think it's, the last couple of years, I think it's just been online.
Okay.
I don't think we get the actual old school booklet until you actually go to the thing.
So maybe we wait till it's a little bit closer and see what some of the potential.
Sessions are gonna be?
Yeah.
Yep,
and
to see
what
where the conflicts might be.
And what the.
So you and I
topics
usually
will
do
be.
our courses Friday, right? So I don't mind. I know nobody wants to do it, so it's probably my turn. I punted it around and
I
over
did
your
too,
words the
but-
last few years.
I've done it a couple of years too.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So you can
Well, we'll
stick 'em
tentatively
in
put
there.
Amanda on there, and then we will have, I like when we have a nice discussion and all know what our vote's gonna be one way or another prior to walking in, so there's no decisions to be had.
Yep, for sure. And so, something that just got mentioned for the board conference, there are some workshops beforehand, some pre-sessions, so if you look at any of those and want to sign up, make sure you let us know as soon as possible, because some of them fill up pretty quick, and so we'll get you signed up as soon as you get us that information.
Is Thursday the one that did the Lane Equity Conference, is that Thursday or Friday?
I think Thursday.
During the day?
We just got an email, because one of some presenters is the guy that presented with that Trust Matters book. We just got an email, I think yesterday.
Remember who that is, 'cause I can't.
Good.
Yeah.
A couple of other things, I don't have like a projection of any kind yet. I'll get one to you in about the next month, but with this respect to enrollment, this is the first time in the history of 289 that we have 5 grade levels under 100 kids. So, we continue to gradually trend downward. I'll try to get you an updated enrollment projection sometime over the next month.
I know we're a bit far from it, but in regards to that, I know at some point we have spoken about, were that to continue on that trend, at what point So we have 3 schools and we had just lightly mentioned putting it into 2. How far down the line is that, if it continues the way it is, or is that just
I think it's a ways.
a bird in the air?
I think it's a ways, because, you know, Blackstone being the smallest at only two grade levels, to try to absorb 2 whole grade levels somewhere, that's a big.
But it does leave open room potentially to bring some of our outplaced students back, right? Because we're talking about.
Most definitely.
So that would be huge.
Yeah, that, you know, one of the several reasons that, you know, once we were able to take a great look at some of the way that we were structuring and supporting our special education students, and the way we're able to make some of those changes, which are just in the first week or so working out great, we should be able to bring some of those students back now that our internal programs are better supported and better structured. So that's a definite goal. For
How many this year do we have that are outplaced?
Give or take 20.
Okay.
And most of those, we said, would be potentially served with like an autism type program, right?
That would be very beneficial, for sure, for sure.
May I ask, like, if you know, the 5 grade levels that are under 100, are they all those lower grades like coming up, or are they kind of spread out throughout the 8 grades?
They're spread out.
Okay.
So what does that mean for staff then? Like, is there any potential retirements we don't replace? And,
I think we do have those discussions, yeah, for sure.
okay.
Yeah, if, you know, I think that one of the things that we need to start taking a critical eye at is when we do have retirement attrition, do people get replaced? Yeah.
Have we done like demography reporting at all to take a look at like what it's looking like for the next couple of years? Like, for us to get a feeling, like, is this trend expected to stay?
Yeah, I include that every time I do an enrollment projection. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's a part of it.
Okay.
And so, in the next month or so, I'll have one of those to
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Sent out an email, on possible, wellness initiatives for the upcoming year. And, I've already gotten some really good feedback on that. And so, in the next, couple weeks, I'll compile those, take that to the health insurance committee, see what our next, health, or wellness initiative is gonna be, to try to springboard off of our biometric screening that we did last spring. Just kind of the thought process is that every year kind of add one thing to it, just to try to do everything we can to support our people in their own personal health. Our summer HVAC work, as of today, we had somebody on site today, so as of today, everything's online, running, cooling, all of our old piping systems are all offline and to be long forgot about, so.
Whatever happened with the stuff you were gonna try to sell that got stolen?
So we got some of it back, and then we also got, a discount on our bill with the employer who was a part of that. So, no, the owner was super good about, you know, making sure that we were made whole and taking care of everything, so. And then the last thing is, in the next, few weeks, we'll start up a district-wide committee. As we know that, this year, we've departmentalized 5th grade. 5th grade teachers could not be happier about it. The students have taken to it great. And so we'll have additional committee work to discuss departmentalization at lower grades. See what that looks like.
And are we still in connection with a school or a couple schools that we were following that did
Almost
that? Or-
definitely,
okay.
almost definitely. Yeah, we tend to utilize, you eventually wanna be that outlier that everybody looks to, and so,
Yeah.
we're utilizing those resources where we can, for sure.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we had no committees or reports this time, so 7.1, budget.
Yeah, the tentative, FY26 budget, like we've been talking about, last year we put money in the bank, this year is going to be a down year. Our revenues aren't great, a lot of funding sources are, haven't been great. Some of them, we think maybe we're gonna get back, maybe Title II, when we're talking about, maybe getting some money back there. But our revenues are gonna be about 17.4 million, and our expenditures at 19.2. Big part of that is the fact that we are finishing up these large facility projects, and so after this year, all of that will go away, so expenditures will start to go back down again. And then next year will be a year where we'll put money in the bank again. So if you look at kind of the 2-year cycle, this year we're budgeted to be about 1.8 million in the hole, and then next year we'll put 1.6 million back. So if you look at kind of that 2-year cycle, pretty level, which is where we've been. Right now, we've got about, to start the year, we had about $9 million in the bank. When I got here 4+ years ago, we had about $9 million in the bank. 2 years from now, we'll have about $9 million in the bank, and so we're trying to, now, that being said, we need to, like Teresa was just talking about, we need to be cognizant of where we need to make sure that we are watching what we're doing and how we're doing it, to keep that long term.
Are we at the threshold then, where we'll have to do that like remediation plan with the state then?
We will, and that's just filing the form. But yeah, as part of our final adopted budget, we have to have a deficit reduction plan.
Because none of us like to pass a negative budget, and every year this comes up, and I know that it essentially is almost flush, but why can't we make it that way every year? We're like, this is the part that I don't quite understand. We do the bond, we're in a cycle every other year. Why can't it just be 0 both years as opposed to +2, -2?
Because we are in a bonding cycle, and so we could take steps to back out of that. I could see what that would look like. That would be messy to back out of that, and I could put some scenarios together, I guess.
In a more generic way, it's like, this is the frustrating part about school finance, cause it's like it's not like your checking account or your balance, like our balance is okay.
Right.
But every dollar that comes in is already earmarked for one of those funds, and you can't just like easily mix it all
Move it,
together
yeah.
and then
It's
be
not
like,
one
look, we
big
have it
pot.
all
Right.
here. And so like when we go bonding and that money's sitting there in the bank, it's not allocated into the funds that we're upside down in for, I'm assuming ed fund and some of our other funds that. Transportation. So, I agree with you, but it's such a temporary situation because of that cycle. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see if I can come up with.
Like, I
some
understand
scenarios.
that, but
It's
I
frustrating.
don't like it.
I know.
And I don't know why we can't make it just be 0 every year.
Well, I mean, I
And we
guess
make
you probably
nothing.
could make it something, but you would have to not be realistic about, like, we would realistically be able to cut 1.9 million out of our budget,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and the true result is that we're $200,000-ish in the negative, and that's the trend that we really need to look at.
Well, this year is so much
Right.
more unknown because some of that title funding is still frozen, so
Yep.
we don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, that was gonna be my next question is, like you were saying, kinda like, it's been this trend, but could we see it start hurting more with like some of that stuff?
In theory,
not
we
coming?
could.
Yeah.
We could, and that's another reason why it's such a good to have that cushion in the bank, that we do. For us to have half a year's spending in the bank, that's a great position to be in.
Plus, we're nowhere near max bonded, so I guess in a worst case scenario, if there was a temporary dip, nothing we'd want to do, but something a lot of schools don't have the luxury of, cause they're looking at 30+ years of debt sitting over their head, right? Like, we're in a
I'm not.
24-month bonding cycle.
Yeah, I'm clearly not advocating for this, but if the bottom fell out between now and December, we could very easily come up with $1.5 million in our levy for next year if we wanted to. I wouldn't like that as a taxpayer.
Right.
But I'm just saying, we're not,
Or slow the investment back into the buildings, into the services, if we had to pause a curriculum refresh or do something that we don't wanna do, but I know what you're saying, it's so dumb because it doesn't let you take into account the full picture when you submit that budget because of the restrictions on the bond, or on the funds. But ultimately, I mean, if your ed fund and your, transportation fund, everybody's upside down on it, and that doesn't help that the state says, well, it costs $1, so we'll give you 59 cents back. Everyone's gonna be upside down in the transportation budget, but the ed fund, I mean, I do think that that's where looking at that attrition and those opportunities is gonna be really important, because if your student numbers are decreasing, that means your EBF numbers are gonna go down over time.
over time, yep.
And if you're not keeping your ed fund, which is our largest expense, is our people, we gotta keep that in balance.
Sure.
Especially with a district this size, where 1 or 2 people can make a major difference one way or another.
So how many retirees do we have? Who's gonna retire?
Oh boy, this year, I think we have 4?
3 or 4.
4.
But we like know typically 3 years.
2, yep.
2 years, okay.
Mhm.
So we just kinda maybe like have a better, maybe at some point we could kind of brainstorm like a good staffing forecast plan on what that's looking like. I know in the past we've had like weird bubbles of students that have come through where it's like a big class and then a teacher
Yeah.
has to bump from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, or like maybe we end up having to look at a situation where somebody's kind of in that floater position if we can't sustain
Yeah, that's
the
why I was
numbers.
wondering where those lower classes were, if they were all at the bottom and you moved up with them, or if they're.
Yeah, most of them are at the bottom. Kindergarten first, I don't have the number, I think 3rd. So 3 of the 5 are pretty low.
Okay.
Yeah, our biggest class is 8th grade.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course.
So when will we provide, you will have a final budget for us to pass next month?
Correct, yep, I'll have the typical
January.
presentation and all of that. The budget's been on display here in our office since the end of last week, so.
So we'll have a budget hearing and then the meeting
Yes,
next
ma'am.
time. Okay. Any questions on the budget? So it's not really, are we really motioning to approve the tentative grant?
Typically we do in
Okay.
August when we have a meeting.
All right, then we have a motion to approve the tentative budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the tentative FY 26 budget as presented.
Second.
Brenda, roll call.
Comitas,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Landers,
Yes.
Cost,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
and Ralph.
Yes.
Okay, EIS report is our annual employee something salary.
Yeah, salary and benefits as reported at PRS. Debbie, what's the I?
EIS.
Yeah.
Employee something.
I just did the
salary.
report. It's like, oh,
I
this
was
is
just
due on the
curious.
15th, I guess I better get
I
it
was
done.
just curious.
I don't know what it is.
Do we start our teacher contract, is it next summer?
So we're entering year 4
Yeah.
of a 5-year contract, and so, so this is August of 25. Those negotiations would probably start March of 27.
Got some time.
So you got a bit.
Got it.
So this report is just the required report that then gets posted on our website.
Correct.
Of salaries.
Correct. And it's from last year. This is
Right.
what we've already done. Yep.
Okay, so this is just procedural. Can we have a motion to approve the EIS report?
Make a motion to approve the annual EIS reports.
Second? Seconds, roll call.
Ralph,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Cost,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Comitas.
Yes. Okay, press policy, I know you sent us a few notes on that. Again, we went through those first reads last time, were there any questions or anyone want to discuss any further changes on press policy 119? Some language changes? Okay. If not, because we have, someone went through.
This policy 119 as presented from the July meeting.
I'll say.
Comitas,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Landers,
Yes.
Cost, Schrader, and Rapp.
Yes.
Let's talk tennis courts.
Woo-hoo.
So we've been approached by the city. They would like to take over the land south of the creek, and, which includes our old tennis courts that we haven't done anything with, plan on doing anything with. If you'll recall, was it this last year? We had a skate park conversation, that didn't end up going anywhere. If we cede this land to the city, then not only will they utilize it, but then they will do all of the upkeep on it, which would be awesome.
Why is it different now where they didn't want to?
I was
do
just gonna
any of
ask that.
From the skate park.
I don't work for the city.
See, and that's like, that's what this, has bothered me since
Yeah.
like this, because it became such a, and they, not that I'm not for, you know what I mean, but they didn't want any of it.
Not only that, they fined the guy who went to them first, who sent him to us.
Yeah, like, I get, but I think it's because it's what fits their plan. You know what I mean? But, and I get that it takes it off of us, but what precedents are we setting that we didn't want the skate park, but now we're opening it up for pickleball?
No, but remember what we said to the skate park guy, we were willing to give it to him for $1 a year. We were gonna rent it for $1,
Yep.
like, we were essentially giving it, we were willing to.
But the city,
Right,
the
but
city
I think
didn't
you
want.
have to look at it from, don't say like, what precedent are we setting? Cause our precedent was, we were willing to let the guy have it for nothing, cause we wanted it to
Yeah.
be used by the community.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
agree that
mean-
it sends a mixed message from the city's perspective, but I wanna make sure that people
Yeah.
realize, like, we said to the state guy 100%,
Yep.
we were
Yeah.
on board.
Yeah, I guess my, like Amanda, why isn't now the city okay with this?
And I do think maybe we have a missed opportunity that we never went back to. We do have that space. We don't utilize it. I'm all for it being used, but we have sports things everywhere. Either can we fix up the tennis court, was it utilized at all? Anyways, I don't know, pickleball is great, it's on trend, but then does it sit there? It wouldn't be our problem at that point anyways, but can we use it for us to benefit our children for a low-cost solution? I mean,
We haven't.
I know we haven't, but could we, should we, would we?
When did they build well, no, it's when they built the football field out there. Mhm, well.
I think the only thing that, I mean, I just think we haven't done anything with it, we haven't had any plans to do
We
anything
haven't
with
had
it.
discussions about it either.
Well, I think we would need, right, but I think if there's no educational need for it, we don't have a tennis team, we don't have, right? And I think we have to look at it as, is it more of a liability that it's sitting there growing weeds than not being used?
And I don't disagree that it should absolutely be used, I'm just wondering, should we think about us using it before we give it away? Cause I feel like we haven't at all, but if that's not something anyone's interested in, that's fine.
But when we had the conversation with the skate park, we did ask those questions. Would we use it? Would we be using it? Would it be a kink for us to get rid of it? Like, could our kids use it during the day if we brought them there? I think the same questions would stand, right?
Yeah.
Like, making sure, like, we have access to it, if it was a pickleball court or whatever it was. Could our kids use it for a pickleball unit then?
Sure.
You know, whatever that would look like. I'm not opposed to
So the parking, in what context?
Just be on the grass if we do football.
Right, but we also, like, especially during track season, we do run out of parking all around there.
Mhm.
And then if there's,
Like,
Yep.
if we're retaining that part,
So we would retain I'm gonna say right, to continue to use it for shop put, to continue to use it for event parking, to, for lack of a better term, have precedent, like send them a schedule, this is when we have stuff. This is when we will need to be utilizing it, and so then we would have precedent during those times.
but if it's an open pickleball court,
We're gonna put up a sign and say closed today.
I think there might be a few questions. Cause they say we retain the ability to use it for shot put and discus, but let's say that people get offended if we start driving up and parking on the city park, like they do for the track meets, right? Or if they're, right. I just feel like there needs to be like some more conversation and understanding around like what is being given away, what's not. We talked about our concerns when the skate park was going in with lighting and cameras and all sorts of things. Again, not our problem on that side, but if we're gonna utilize it for school-based sports and it's no longer our land, I think there's some questions to maybe be worked out.
And I do still have those questions, but my questions was more before we give it away, do we want to think about using it at all for us?
Well, I think we've thought about using it over the last however many years in dozens of different ways, none of them feasible.
Right.
Because if they were, we'd be using it, right? It's, so far away to be able to get a class there and back, that kind of thing. And then, what are you gonna use it for after school? Nothing that we've been, we don't have a tennis team,
Right.
and so, yeah.
I've seen some courts like that turned into, not a home gym, but stationary pull-up bars and set up places and stationary bikes and
Outdoor fitness.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good space for
But
it, maybe,
But
not too
again, the
expensive.
problems with that are the same as the state park. When I think about it, it's okay, lighting, security, who's picking up the trash, I mean, we get into that
Liability
same.
insurance.
But
yeah,
aren't
we
those
get into that
problems
same-
still ours right now? It just
Yeah.
happens that it's not used, so we
Right, but
dust
I-
it under the table.
But if we make it usable, and
people
people,
do it.
right,
But like a gym or something, like I love the idea, but again, I'm assuming you're not saying lock it up unless our students are using it, it would be open like it is right now. Then now we have somebody that's doing sit-ups or somebody doing pull-ups and falls and breaks their leg, they're not there on district purpose, it's a little bit of a liability, like
And
that.
if they fall and bust a knee running on the track, I mean, is it the same?
Well, remember when we had the skate park, we said we would not be willing to pay the insurance, so we were gonna require them to have private insurance if they were gonna put a skate park there. I feel like if we put a gym or something there, it's a higher liability than walking there.
Isn't it just a sign that says, use at your own risk as anything else we have? And I don't know that world, that's just questions from me.
You could be sued for anything.
Sure, sure.
So just to clarify, how did, so 289 owns the land,
In the tennis courts.
okay, and we're giving all of it away, or what are we proposing here? Just to make sure I fully
What
understand.
space, you need a picture.
Okay,
In the creek, over to the end of the road, which is essentially the tennis courts and that space that they park in for track. Is there a
Where we
potential that we could maybe, there's concerns about where they park, where they do shot put and discus, like is there a potential that instead of like cutting it there, do we like cut it over further? Like, so they are just assuming at the tennis courts and over and not all that land?
Sure. It's our land, we can shape this conversation however we want.
and it's being given, right, like that's how we have to do it.
You can't sell.
Right, I'm just,
I would think so.
okay.
Or Or is there the possibility that if we did that, that we relocate the shot put to a more feasible in the track in that part of the complex, so you're not crossing that? I do think there's more, I think we have questions that we wanna ask, you know what I mean?
I think the only place that you would be able to put shot put would be where we're currently parking or inside the track itself, which I don't think you can do.
I think parking is my biggest question. If the city's willing to invest money in pickleball courts, I think it'd be worth a conversation to, if you drive over there when there's a track meet, you can't drive down any one of those sides. I mean, you've got hundreds of cars
Yep.
there, and then the same thing happens with the junior tackle, and, I just think if there isn't really parking lot there, we just park on grass in all the directions.
Mhm.
So maybe if we're willing to like invest in the land and make it a city park, then maybe that area where there's the extra parking could, part of the deal could be, can that be like a gravel lot? There is parking.
So do we want to invite somebody from the city? Do we wanna do like we did last time and have a couple of board members, maybe with a couple of city personnel to continue the conversation? What would you like next steps to be?
I think them coming like they, I don't even know, cause I think we all have questions. Like they came last time and then we had our individual, like, or I think it was Teresa and I had that. But they came first and then we had that, because we still had more questions.
Yep.
Like, I think it's one of those where we all have questions, and the more that, like, if something's said, then we think, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think.
Is
one or
that
two-
property of value? I mean, real estate is still
There's a price
of
to it. You
worth.
can't-
Build on.
To build
It's in a
anything.
floodplain.
Yeah.
Right, again, we're just giving away land, whether how big or small it is, and is that,
I think what you have to do, we're doing this at a much larger level right now in a different world, I think, but I think you have to look at what is the cost that we're doing right now that we could potentially saving and not having the maintenance related to mowing, those areas. And eventually, yes, the tennis courts look horrible right now, they're just gonna continue to deteriorate. At some point, we're either gonna have to take them down or lock them up or do something. So like, is there a cost savings just from discontinuing what we're already spending there? And then I think you have to look at that savings and then what's the potential community land use right now. Remember, it wouldn't be like giving it to a developer, it would be, again, the same taxing body for the same public use would be using it. So if ultimately it relieves the district of the cost. When we talked about the skate park, we said we didn't want to invest new money in something that, yeah, well, our kids might use it, it's not for educational purposes, and so we wouldn't want to allocate money away from what could be educational to non-educational. I think the same thing would be said about redeveloping that area into something different. If we don't have an educational use for it, then we shouldn't invest new money. So if we do nothing and leave it as is it costing us money? And if it is, how much is approximately is it costing us to just continue to sit on it?
right, or is there anything that we've never sat down and talked about that we can use for a low cost, that can be educational, that you can use from the schools? Could we put a whole bunch of solar panels on it and make more money that way?
Yeah, I think we had, 100%. I think we just need, we would need some bigger input. Again, right now, and like it's been sitting there for how many years, we've done nothing with it. So if the choice is make it a usable, nice facility for the community, or let it continue to sit there and be an eyesore, it's costing us money. But I agree, it's worth exploring if there was a reason. So maybe we bring Ms. Greenline in or something
Yep.
and have a conversation with her about, because maybe the idea of having a pickleball court is great because maybe, they've talked about wanting more intramural after school. If that's something she wants to pursue and having that over there would be great because they could go do it, then wonderful.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of questions to be had, but before we do anything, I think we need to, if you haven't been over there on the day of a track meet, it is horribly unorganized, parking
Yes.
wise and kids crossing in and out, and buses everywhere, and it's horrible, and so
Cars
adding
getting-
another place for more people to go and park would make me just super nervous.
I just hate for.
But I'm sure there's some sort of intergovernmental plan that can be worked out. I know back in my home state, the rec center that the city built is attached to the school.
Oh, yeah.
And the community and the high school managed to run a whole rec center during the school year together. And so we're just talking about pickleball court or whatever. You know, if it is built, I'm sure something can be worked out that during track meets or junior tackle games, something happens that, okay, you know, we've got restricted hours this day for the public because we have a track meet or whatever. I don't think that is gonna be a huge obstacle. I mean, because for the most part, it'll be open to the community to use. I mean, we don't have track meets usually at, 8 o'clock in the morning or whenever. Cause its location from here, I don't wanna take a bunch of fifth graders over there. I mean, and okay, get them over there, you get them there, you're there for, 30 minutes and then you have to haul them back or walk them back in time. I mean, I just think because of its location, its educational use is really limited for this school. I mean,
Do we use the track other than like the picnic or like the
Field
field
day.
days? Like,
A little bit.
so I think make sure we bring Heather to the table
Yep.
and have her involved in the conversation, what should, because you brought up another great point, like there may be a way where we could still potentially own the land and have an intergovernmental agreement that they would build a facility that would be open to the public, but we don't necessarily give up all of that land if we're feeling uncomfortable about letting it go, like that might be another option to potentially pursue.
it doesn't have to be all or nothing, I don't believe. Or I'm hoping, I guess, is the better term.
I really see that. I don't want us to give it up.
So, lots of questions, so let's see if we can bring Heather, bring the city.
And give Heather a heads up as to what we're thinking about, to give her some time to prepare.
Of course.
Is there anyone else that you think would be useful in the conversation that we're having?
Well, I know the city on Monday, they just, I don't know what it is, but they passed in regards to, with Annie Short, they want to do some more soccer fields over here and something over there, and so, we said the city, but her specifically to combine, because they've been working really hard with Reimagine Mendota, like, there are 3 separate groups here, but I know she's part of the Reimagine, but she's the city grant writer, and she was the one that was here with
The
skate
skate
park,
guy,
so
yeah.
Yep.
maybe somebody else that's a key.
Are those tennis courts, are they closed in? Lockable? Or just open?
They're open right now.
Open like any of the tennis courts.
Because like, with the city even gonna monitor the days that you have to use them for track, and also with them being wide open, you're gonna really keep people out of there and keep more people from parking in there. They're gonna actually monitor that, you know what I mean? That'd be a little tough too.
Mhm.
They still potentially could go in there and use up all that parking lot, and who's gonna say anything different?
Right. Maybe parking could be part of it, maybe like that, between the end of the road and the tennis court, there could be like a small spot for parking or something, I don't know. That side, yeah, there's land there, and like maybe that's a win-win for all uses, that there's more parking, I don't know.
Oh.
Or maybe they'll put a bike rack up there for kids to
Oh,
ride their bikes.
okay. Right.
Holly's drawing.
Yeah, here's the track.
Her new art teacher.
Yeah, no art teacher.
Steve.
No, 3rd grade. Here's the tennis courts. There's that open lot here.
On the other side of the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just saying, we're talking about there's no parking ever.
We need, on the other side,
Right.
On the west side of the road.
Yeah, the west side of,
But that's not, that's not city property, is
I
it?
don't know whose property, that's what I'm saying.
That's individually owned.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't
what I'm-
build on it because of the crib.
That'd be my assumption.
Well, some, way back when, something, even the realtors at one point, and that was,
Yeah, the creek runs through that.
right,
property.
and I think that,
Sorry, I was just over
But maybe even like you think about, like the city's done a great job with adding bathroom facilities to some of the parks. Maybe there'd be a chance to coordinate and update our bathrooms that are at the tracks so that there would be usable, not closed when they're not used. So maybe if it's gonna be more of a community area. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do the track resurfacing if we didn't have the community support we did for it to be a community usable thing, so. Which we didn't give the land away to do it, so I mean, there's just options.
Sounds like a lot of good conversation.
So September meeting?
Yep,
potentially? Okay.
set all that up.
Word social.
So we've been talking about this, I sent out a survey, looked like, there were no dates where everybody was, but people did seem to like, just in the responses, like a Sunday evening, that seemed to be something where people had a lot of availability. Do you want me to send out another survey to see if we can find a date?
Yeah, we're just,
I'm just good, I'm on a holiday.
What's that?
No, just not a holiday Sunday, until October.
are there any holiday Sundays in October?
Well, holiday weekends, you know,
Oh,
Labor Day, you
okay.
know.
Oh, no,
The holiday weekend.
yeah.
Yeah, we're just text, but don't reply all.
Yeah.
Whatever works for everybody is fine,
Yep.
communication wise.
Yeah, I can certainly do that, I can, if that works, much easier than a Google form, I can just text everybody individually. Sure. Yep. Yeah.
I'm confused, we used to not be able to do it because of Open Meetings Act and all
You
that
can't
kind of stuff.
reply.
Oh, you can't.
You can do one-way messaging via email, text, whatnot, but you
Okay.
shouldn't reply, cause now you've engaged in conversation with the group as a whole.
It's kind of like.
Okay.
Or you can send it to
VCC.
3 people at a time.
Right, you can do twos,
You
2x2s.
Probably get by with 3 technically, depends on what lawyer you talk to, but 2 is always safer.
So then what's the rule
that's-
for our social?
That's why when, well, I mean,
You
it's
can't
no
talk
school
about
business.
anything related to school.
Yeah, it's no different than our board dinner at the board conference.
Right.
It's just, it's social, not about business in any way, shape, or form.
Well, this is kind of I think that would be great for building relationships with the board, especially overall a pretty young board that's worked together. It would be great, but I also think it's, I don't know, it just came to my head, it might be kind of neat for us to do a social at some point with the high school board. It's the same kids, it's the same community.
Yeah, because as an organization, we've made a huge effort and made great strides working with the high school as an organization. And so that would just be following that.
It would be nice if even once a year, we just need time to sit
Yeah.
together and,
Think about those.
well, even
Just
just
get to know each
community
other.
and.
If it were to be,
Business.
if it
we'd
would
have
be
to
business, then it would be a
meeting.
joint meeting.
Right.
Right, so you're just talking more.
Like a
just get to know-
social, and
yeah,
then
just a
maybe that
social.
opens the door that we do have 2 representatives that meet with 2 representatives from their board on a somewhat more regular
Honestly, I
basis.
couldn't tell you who's on the high school board.
Right.
And I'm sure they can
Now, do they
mention
attend
no
the
one.
conference?
We do.
I've seen a few over the last few years there.
But I think overall it'd be a lovely committee if we developed something over time where we had a few people and they had a few people to mirror exactly what you guys are doing. You guys are working together all the time and trying to figure out how to coordinate these things, like the board should really be all in that same sleep.
Yep, I can have some conversations and report back to you.
have another thought. Is there like an upcoming time where like we can invite our new staff hires, like, you know, teachers, to come to a board meeting, where you introduce them, just so we get to know who they are, if they're available. Anyway, I have to do mine in September, but it'd be kinda nice to get a face to who some of the people are, especially if we have children in the district, and so it's not just a name, we don't know. Just a thought. And then they know who we are.
Is that something that we have an interest in? That you have an interest in?
I mean, I'm not opposed to it, I would feel bad if it was like required, but, because we haven't done it in the past, and there's probably some teachers who've been here for a while that I still don't know, like.
Suppose it as a meet and greet and you don't have to come, I suppose.
Or, you know how we do the traveling coming up?
I was just gonna say what you were gonna say.
I was too.
Yeah, invite,
Yeah.
when we start traveling to the different schools, the night we're gonna be there, we can invite all of their staff, new and anybody, like, we don't know you, like, if you come in the first 15 minutes, like, maybe we invite them at 6 for snacks, and then we start our business meeting at 6:30 and have a chance to
Like
hear from
bingo
them.
and-
Yeah, since we're, like, in their school and in their
Yes.
space.
But then they know who we are too, because I'm
Right.
sure some of them don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's kinda what I was.
I was just, I guess, when you initially said that, I was like, there's probably some last year
Yeah.
that I
And
don't
the year
know,
before,
like,
and the year
we're,
before, yeah, we
like,
haven't done
I feel
that.
bad
It's a great
starting it right
practice,
now
but-
and making it a requirement.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, but when we're at Blackstone, have only Blackstone staff show up.
Or any
the ones
Blackstone
I
that-
think
staff.
or the
any
ones that are
Blackstone
there.
staff, like invite Blackstone staff in general, like if the Board of Education can send a nice note to them saying, we're gonna be in your building, we'd love to see a quick tour of the classroom, we'd love for you to meet us and us to meet you, and invite them for snacks and, you know, do that a half an hour, cause the beginning of the meeting is always gonna be their principal presenting about their school to us.
You need that pat on the back, you know.
I'm sure they're always encouraged to attend board meetings anyways. I mean, I feel like when I was a teacher, I was always encouraged to attend. Maybe this'll get some.
Where I was at, we would send a union member to every meeting, or two of us, that
Yeah.
every single board meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it rotated, it wasn't the same three
Yeah,
people
really.
at every meeting.
I guarantee we get lots of views on YouTube.
It's technology, you
It's a
can watch
great-
it at any time.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
that's
great
true.
tool, I mean, you
I'd
don't have
like
to
them
send
to have
somebody.
that.
It doesn't have to be
You know,
7:30
it's-
at night.
Yeah, and people
Yeah.
can watch it whenever they want, I think that's
I
great.
like that too.
That transparency to it, I love that.
Which was our big thing.
So those started when, January? Can't remember, it was
That's
cold,
it.
it was
I-
always cold.
I wanna say it's February, March, April are the 3 months that we travel typically.
Very good. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:12.
Would you like to second, Amanda?
Evidently.
I'm trying to look at the time.
I was just looking at that clock, so hopefully it's right.
All in favor?
Aye.